Hey, how are you doing, everyone? Today I had the experience where I visited practical exams for a gardener. Me, gardener? Okay, whatever. So I applied for a jobs for a couple of months now, and gardener is just one job that where HR did reach out back to me because I had experience in the past. They asked for 1 year at least of experience, and I had it where I worked in a first response company. We used to patrol the area where with the pipe with oil, right? And normally we wouldn't want to have any vegetation on this site around the pipes. And if something happened, like an oil spill, we need to remove all kind of vegetation, right? Any kind of trees, brushes, scrubs, everything, flowers, everything that can be contaminated. So I used a lot of tools back then, like Husqvarna, it's a chainsaw, coal, all that kind of stuff. We had trimmers, handheld trimmers, hedge trimmers for the branches, for the trees, for the shrubs and bushes. We had pruning tools. We had a weed whacker with a wire, all that kind of stuff. And I thought it's going to be a good idea, a good experience if I apply for the city as a gardener because they have benefits, right? A retirement, dental, all that kind of stuff. And I thought it's a good idea. So I applied and I forgot. And then they sent me a message, an email. Can you please come for the practical exam? So I didn't know really what to expect until the last moment they sent me an email of the task that I'm gonna be tasked to do. And it was like driving a truck with the tools. It was situational questions. They didn't told me what kind of question it's gonna be, but I could assume it can be related to the parks and working in public places. So they had also questions for the tools and irrigation system. So when I came, it was a lot of people, like 15 people, and it was only on my time slot. I had an appointment at 9 a.m. of morning. Before me, it was another group of people. After me, it was another group of people. I saw a lot of men and only one woman, and she did well from my perspective of view. So don't let it discourage you. Gender is no, it shouldn't be a issue for you. In any case, so they had 6 stations, and I went from one to another. And in general, I don't want to give into the details, but I can share my experience from the previous years and how does that related to the gardener position. Uh, uh, what's not related, it was really confusing me in the email that I got before I came for the practical exams. In the email, they notified me what kind of questions they would have for me. For example, on the practical exam, I supposed to know how to handle the signs in the public places, be it a stop sign, be it it can be a parking sign, and how to handle all of removal of the vandal, something like a vandal paint signs, like swear words, for example. I have no idea. I thought I applying for a gardener. I don't know how to remove all kind of paint from the signs, but little bit of googling, I did figure it out. Also, guys was talking about that on the parking spots, so I was listening while I was waiting for exams. before they even started, I already knew what to do, and it's not a kind of a great sign. Okay, so enough about that. Other than that, they mentioned it in email that they want me to drive a truck, which I have plenty of experience because I had a side job as a mover. Right, I used to drove big trucks with a team, with the two helpers, and I was a foreman. And it was huge trucks, like under 10,000 pounds. It's category C, but it's a huge truck with a big boot in the butt, in the back, right? And what do they have? From what I know, usually Gardner have like a Ford F-150. Who knows that kind of truck? It's a big, bad truck, but it's not like a huge truck. Other than that, they had questions for to name the tools that they're gonna use on the job, to tell what kind of purpose they have. They had, and this is kind of common sense, right? If you use pruning tools on your job, you go applying for the gardener, you already know how to use grass trimmer, weed whacker, you know how to use chainsaw, all that kind of stuff, handsaw. But even I didn't know some of the tools. I had no idea what they for, and I couldn't tell what that was a tool for. Okay, it's getting hot here. I need to open my windows. I don't want people on the public hear my recording, but in any case, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, it was a couple of situational questions. I will not go over them. They related to the public places and the job of the gardener. Right, and nothing difficult. What else? Driving tools, paint removal, and that's pretty much everything. I like everything. Even I couldn't. Even I couldn't came up with some answers for some questions. I did enjoy it because it's kind of enjoyable way to do the interview and practical exams. I have experience in early years, for example, in IT, where people used to have a setup for online meeting and they can just drop halfway. You're doing some technical task, technical interview, and people just can drop off the meeting. The other thing, I had a big company interviewing me. One young guy came up to the online interview and he was asking me about my experience, about my current company experience. So I was telling him that I was doing UI testing, like web browsers, and native testing of handheld devices, all that kind of stuff. I use Selenium and Java, and he was laughing into my face. He was telling me that he was doing API testing with JSON, and it's 1,000 faster than I did with UI testing. And so he was laughing on me. It was very rude, and I didn't want to respond with rudeness, but I still remember that. What kind of person is that? Like going on interview to make jokes about my skills, about what I'm doing on my job, and I was telling the truth what I'm doing. Right, Selenium and UI testing does exist for a reason. It's a main part of the quality assurance in IT. You can't laughing out of it. Anyway, on the other jobs, for example, in another country, if you have experience, you have a workbook with the records, so you don't need to tell what you was doing on the job. You're just showing your book and that's it. But I like in California, you need to explain everything. You can have no experience. You can have no proper education. You can have like a high school and go to the job and tell the people what you did for a job, and they're gonna hire you and pay good money and give you benefits. You don't need a specific education. You just need to explain how would you do what you did on previous job, what experience you had, and that's pretty much enough for any job in California. Well, not even for any job, but for most of the jobs, right? Most public jobs, blue collar, maybe white collar jobs. In any case, I like experience. I liked the idea to be a gardener. I don't know if I passed or I didn't. I don't think I passed, but I like the idea that the people approach to that kind of exams as interviewer without making things stressful for the people. It was nice approach. It was nice people. It was nice experience. I like it so far. Did I pass? I don't know. I don't think so. But would I do that if I would suggest it again? Most definitely. Why not? It's a good experience. Even people who came for the practical exam to show their skills, they was very nice. They pass. Oh, I think they passed everything. They on the way out they said, "Good luck, you guys. Bye. I did everything. Bye. Good luck with all the assignments." I like it. I would like to work with that kind of people, right? All right, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to share for today's experience. Like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of it, and see you in the next video. Bye.